Hello and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to learn how to make a corset with a tulle or a net. So this is a transparent corset. I will show you guys how to sew a very neat, a well finished transparent corset. So I have done a video on the pattern drafting. I want to sew a corset with a bra cup. The video is how to make a corset with a bra cup, right? I'll link the video in the description box and I'll also link it here so that you guys can go and watch. So I am done drafting the patterns already. This is the front. So I have opened the dart. If you want to leave the dart closed, you can leave it closed, but I opened mine. So I'll place this bra cup so that you can see the way I cut it out. I used my bra cup to cut the corset. So I also have the back pattern. The back pattern has a zipper allowance. I'll write the zipper allowance so that you guys will not be confused. I'll write the zipper allowance. This corset, I am not going to tie it at the back, so I'll add a zipper to it. I've also marked my dart and that is all. So I'll go ahead and start cutting it out on my tool. You will need about 1 yard of tool for the upper part because you're going to double everything. So this is the tool that I will be working with, and I'll go ahead and cut everything out. I'll fold it for each piece. I'll fold into 4 because I want each of them to be 2. I want to cut them in pairs. I want to double them. So I've folded and I'll fold again. Then I'll place my back. So after cutting this, the right will be 2 pieces and the left will be 2 pieces. Then I'll go ahead and do the same thing for all the pattern papers, all the patterns. So this time around we're not going to add any allowance because I've added the allowance while sewing. The only place where you add half an inch allowance is at the bra cup area, like at the dart area of the front part. You will see when I'm cutting it, I'll only add that at the bra up area, at the that area of the front part. So this is how the back looks like, and as you can see I have 2 pieces there. I'll go ahead and notch my darts so that I will know how to or I will know where to attach my dart. So after doing that, I will keep it aside. So I'll go ahead and continue cutting the rest. So I will fold and I will place it on my pattern paper. Then I'll go ahead and cut. So I'll cut out the bra cup area and I'll open the dart area. Like I told you guys, I opened the dart area. Sorry, this is the side piece. This is number 2. This is the side piece. So after this is the side piece, as you can see I added allowance only at the dart area, and I have 4 pieces here. So if I open it up, the right side and the left side are out, and each of the parts is 2 pieces. So if I open up the net, you see that I have 2 pieces each. So the side part is okay. I will go ahead and cut the center. So I'll fold and then fold again. Then I'll place my pattern paper that is for the front. So I'll cut from the down part and I'll add half an inch allowance around the dart area, that is for closing the dart, and I'll also go ahead and cut out the other side. So when cutting out the center, you will add half an inch around the center as well. So I'll open it up and then place it so that you guys can see. You can see the center has a joining, but if you want you can leave it. So after cutting the pieces, this is what I am left with. All of them are equal now. So this is the side and the dart. This is the center. The center is not on fold this time. I opened it. Like I said, I will close it. So this is for my bra cup. I'll go ahead and fold a black fabric. I used a black doll face because I want to cover my bra cup. I folded 6 by 6. So from the center of this fold, you go ahead and measure 6 inches round. If you want, you can measure 4 inches round or 5 inches round, but I measured 6 inches round because I want my fabric to have enough space. But if you want, you can measure 3 round, 4 inches round, or 5 inches round. So that is what it looks like for now. I'll go ahead and cut out another one. This one is for the left bra cup. Remember, we have 2 bra cups, so I'll go ahead and cut out the shape of what I have before. So if I open up, you will have this circle. Then on each point of the circle, this circle is on fold now. I did not fold it 4 times anymore. I opened it. It is now folded 2 times. So on each point of the circle, I'll measure 1.5 down. Then from there, I'll connect to the center and down to the under point where I measured 1.5. Then I'll go ahead and add and cut it out. So this is what I'll be using to cover my bra cup. I'll go ahead and open it up so that you guys can see what it looks like. So if I open it up, this is what it will look like. You can see it has a dart right now. So this is what I will use to cover my bra cup. If you want, you can cut out the lining as well, but I chose not to cut out the lining. I will cut out only the main fabric. So these are the fabric that we use for the channels. So you measure, each of them will be 2 inches wide, so you cut as much as possible. For so if you want, you can cut 12. This is what I will use to make my channels on my corset in order to have a channel for a boning. So I'll go ahead and fold them and iron. I'll fold this way and I'll iron them flat. So I am done folding I am done folding and ironing. So if you open it up, this is what it will look like. Remember, the wideness is 2 inches. The length can be up to 10 inches or 12 inches long, but the wideness is 2 inches. But after ironing, I have 1 inch here. So this is what it will look like. So back to the bra cup area, I have joined the center. This is what it will look like. I've joined the area where I subtracted 1.5 inch on each side. Then I'll go ahead and trim. So after trimming, I'll go ahead and iron it flat so that it will look very flat. Then I'll come back and show you guys. So I am done ironing and this is what it looks like. I'll now place my bra cup inside. I'll place my bra cup inside and I'll go ahead and run a stitch on it round. Please, when placing your bra cup, make sure that the center line aligns on the both bra cup. So this is how I'm going to cut the bra. This is how I'm going to fold the bra cup. I will place it this way. I'll place it. Let me show you guys. Wait. So I am done. I'll place it on top of the bra cup and then run a stitch around it. On top of the fabric, I'll place the bra cup inside the fabric that I made for it and run a round stitch. You don't need to turn the bra cup, sorry. So this is what it looks like. I have run a stitch around the bra cups and I will go ahead and trim out the unwanted fabric, and after that, this is what we will have. This is how the bra cup looks. So if you want, you can turn the upper part of the bra cup, but this time I did not turn it. So here is the back piece. I have added my darts. So this is how to join a transparent corset. You know, on a normal day, we join from the back of the fabric, right? But when sewing a transparent corset, you will be your seam allowance should be at the front. You'll be joining from the front. So you can see the darts that I added is on the front. So this is the center. I will go ahead and join. So the place where my allowance is facing is the front. I don't know if you get. On a normal day, it should be at the back, but this time around it will be at the front. The place where the seam allowance is facing will be the front. So right now I am done joining. I'll go ahead and add the side pieces. So after joining, go ahead and trim down the allowance. You will trim it so that it will be very small. So if I open it up, this is what I will have. Then I will go ahead and join the side pieces. So I am done joining the side pieces, and this is what they look like. As you can see, I trimmed down all the allowance. Then after doing that, I will start placing my channels. So this channel, like I told you guys, the place where I have my zipper allowance is my front part. So I'll go ahead and place this channel and sew on this side. Then after sewing on one side, I'll go ahead and fold over, then sew on the other side. So if you are inserting your boning, the boning will not show at the back part. Remember that I folded these channels. Remember I folded these strips before ironing. I folded them and I ironed them, right? So this time around, after sewing, fold it again and then run another stitch on the other side. So I am done. This is what it looks. This is the back. You can see it is very neat, and this is the front. You cannot really see my zipper. You will not see my allowance. So join from the front, then use this channel to cover the seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and do this for the front and for the back. So you are free to add your channels at the areas where you want to add them. So after sewing, I'll fold and iron, and I'll fold and sew on the other side. Then after sewing on this side, I will sew on the other side as well, so that I will have two lines on each channel. This will also help in holding them down as well. So I'll trim off the excess thread and then go ahead and run another stitch on the other side. So I am done adding my channels to the front, and this is what it looks like. You can see the back is neat as well. You cannot even see where the zipper, where the sewing allowance is. So I'll keep this aside and I will repeat the same on the back part. So you can see the darts. I will go ahead and place my my strip and then join. So after joining, I will use it to cover this dart area. So I am done joining my strips. I'm done making my channels for the back, so I'll go ahead and place my bra cup. I noticed that the space for the bra cup is a kind of smaller, so I'll go ahead and trim it a bit so that it can accommodate the bra cup. Then I'll go ahead and join the bra cup. So when joining the bra cup, remember on a normal day everything we sew will be facing the inside. Our zipper, our seam allowance will be facing the inside, but this time around all the seam allowance on this corset will be facing the outside, because we will use a loop to cover all of them. So this type of corset is suitable for bridal robes, it is suitable for blazers, it is suitable for everything, but it is mostly seen in bridal wears. So all your seam allowance will be facing the front. So after joining and everything, you will use your strip to cover the areas. So I am done joining my bra cup, and as you can see, the zipper allowance is on the outside. Then I'll go ahead and use this strip to cover that part. So after covering this part, you can as well insert another wire to it in it. So if you can notice, my strip is a kind of wide. So after turning this area, it was not looking smooth. So if you are sewing it, please reduce your strip so that it will be very small. My own is 1 inch unfold, so if you are sewing yours, you should make it, let's say 0.75, so that it will not be too wide. So after joining on the other side, I'll go ahead and fold, and you can feel free to insert your under wire here. But if you don't want to insert your under wire, it is still okay. So you can see I am gradually closing all the seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side. I'll place my fabric here, and then after joining, I will go ahead and flip and then run a stitch on it. So after running the first stitch, run another stitch on it also, so that it will lay flat and it will look better. So I am done doing that. The next thing is to join the front and the back. You might be asking why I haven't turned the neckline. I'll use a bias to turn the neckline. So I have joined my front to the back. So this is the first method. First of all, I join from the inside. Then you can go ahead and then join from the outside, so that your seam allowance will not be showing. So I'll go ahead and trim this off, and then place my strip on it, and then cover the side. So I'll go ahead and join the other one. So this time around, this is how, so you can see that I'm joining from the front side. Like I told you guys, if you're making this type of corset, join from the outside. So after doing that, I'll cut off my allowance, and then I'll go ahead and cover this side seams with a strip. I'll make a channel there as well. So I'll go ahead and add my channel there and to the other one. So after doing it, it'll be very fine. So this type of corset, if you want to shape it, it might be a kind of hard. So if you want, you can leave closing this side part, so that you will see where to do your adjustments from. But this time around, I want to close it. So you can see I have closed the side. You cannot really see where I joined this from. So I'll go ahead and close this one as well. So I am done closing the channel for the side. I'm done closing the channel for the side. I'll go ahead and run another stitch on it. Then after that, I'll run another stitch on my breast cup channel. After running a stitch on on the channel for the bra cup, I'll go ahead and use a bias and cover this neckline. First of all, I'll sew from the inside and then I'll turn out to the outside. So please take your time and do this gradually, because working with nets can be hard, but if you take it gradually, it will work for you. So I am done closing, and this is what it looks like. You can see the back up area. I told you guys that the channel is wide, so if you are making your own, please make your channel smaller so that it will look neat. The channel that will be around under the bra cup. So this is what they look like, and I told you guys that I will add a zipper to this. So this is the inside. As you can see, it is very, very beautiful. So feel free to try it out. So after this, I'll go ahead and insert my boning. I used a Regeline bone for this. So if you are inserting your boning, it should be in between the fabric so that it will not be showing through the net. I don't know if you understand. So you insert your bone in between the channel that you made, because we joined it before and we folded. So add it in between that fold so that it will not be showing on the inside. So I'll go ahead and take my time and insert all these. So at the end of the day, after inserting the boning, this is what it will look like. You can see the back up area. You cannot see my sewing allowance. You cannot see my sewing allowance anywhere. So that is all for today. See you guys in my next video. Bye.